Hello everyone, good afternoon. I am Arun Kumar and today I am again in front of you to discuss one more topic related to AZ900 as your fundamental certification, and that is what is serverless computing. This is a very frequent term you might be listening around you, that what is this serverless computing? Is it really serverless? Do we don't need any server to run any application? Okay. So let's discuss around this topic in today's video, and let's proceed forward towards let's take a step forwards towards AZ900 certification. So let me go to my screen and let me start talking around this, that what is serverless computing. Okay, so here the term serverless is there, so it confuses many people that do we do we really don't need any server to run any application. Like suppose I have a SQL database. Okay, SQL database. Okay, and for installing any database in your system, okay, for keeping any database in your system, of course you need a server. Okay, of course you need a server. This database will be present inside a server, right? Inside a server means you can think of it as a computer. You can think of it as a computer. So for installing this SQL database, this database needs to be installed in a server. Okay, it means you can think that this database needs to be installed inside a computer, right? Without computer you cannot install any database. I mean, where you will be installing your database? You need some machine, you need some hardware, you need some infrastructure where you will be installing your database. So if this server on which this SQL database has been installed, okay, is not managed by you, it is managed by the cloud providers, then we call that kind of uh, management as serverless computing, that kind of computing as serverless computing, in which we are not managing the servers, but servers are managed by the cloud providers. Okay, we don't manage these servers are managed by the cloud providers. It's not actually that we are not using server. Without server we can't use our SQL database. Our SQL database needs to be installed in our server. But the important thing is, who is managing that server? Are we involved in managing that server, or is the cloud provider involved in managing that server? So here, in case of serverless computing, cloud providers are involved in managing that server. Let me open Azure portal, okay, and let me show you Azure SQL database and how there we can provision serverless SQL database. Let me show you. Let me take you to this Azure portal, and when I go to this Azure portal, let me search here SQL database. SQL database. When I search here for SQL database and start provisioning a SQL database from zero, then if I click on create option here, if I click on create option here, here you see, if I go down here, some details are present. If I go down, okay, we need to provide few details like subscription resource group. Here we need to give the database name like test. Let me write here Arun, test Arun. And here we have something called compute plus storage. Let me click on this configure database, and here if you see, if you notice, here you see there is one option. First of all, there is option for service tier. Let's choose general purpose tier. On this the costing depends, it is the most budget friendly service tier. Okay, we have something called compute tier here. This compute tier means, okay, in this compute tier we have two options. One is provisioned and another one is serverless. Okay, if you notice, let me choose this. If you notice, if you see here, this is serverless. It means compute resources are auto scaled, build per second based on v cores used. It means how much number of cores we used. Okay, based on that we are charged based on our uses. And the important thing is, we these servers, I mean the servers that will be provisioned here, will not be maintained by us. This will be maintained by Azure cloud. Okay, this will be maintained by Azure cloud, and this kind of configuration we call as serverless. These kind of computings we call as serverless computing. Okay, I hope that this is making sense to you. Okay, Here it is also writing compute resources are auto scaled, build per second based on vCores used. It means these are auto scaled. It means based on our uses, it will be scale up or scale down, and based on our uses, our bills will be charged. Now we have one another option. Let me pick this one also, although we are talking about serverless computing. Let's talk about this provisioned compute tier as well, in which compute resources are pre-located. Like uh, you need what is the configuration of machine that you need. Okay, what is the configuration of machine that you need? Suppose you need 32 GB of RAM. Okay, so that will be pre-allocated to you. 32 GB of RAM will be pre-allocated to you, and based, I mean, you will be always charged for that 32 GB of RAM. But in case of serverless, if you sometimes need 4 GB of RAM, then you will be charged for 4 GB of RAM. If you are allocated 16 GB of RAM, you will be charged for 16 GB of RAM. So in this fashion, serverless computing, of course, it decreases our cost. Also, it decreases our cost because in this charging happens. I mean, charging billing are done based on how much we use. Also, we don't need to we don't need to invest in setting up the infrastructure. Like if you are not setting up in choosing serverless computes, and if we want the SQL database to be in our data center, then we need to build that data center. In that data center, we need to keep the servers. Then we need to install the database. We also need to take care of security things that we also need to take care of security things. We need to continuously keep on installing the patches. So it increases a lot of headache of the industries. Like suppose there is any medicine manufacturing industry, then why that industry will be investing their mind or investing their time in managing the IT infrastructure, which is not their core business. Okay, of course they'll be focusing more on their core business. So this is an example like where the serverless computing comes as a savior. Okay, I have written down few points. Let me read these because these points are really very important, and these are the same points which I just discussed. Okay, it is saying that serverless computing enables developer to build application. It enables developer to build their application by eliminating the need for them to manage the infrastructure. Here, the need to manage the infrastructure, like the need to manage the infrastructure, like setting up the server, all those things, or setting up the network settings, all those things gets removed from the picture because these all things are taken care by the Azure cloud providers only. Okay, these all things are taken care by the Azure cloud providers only. Okay, with serverless application, the cloud service provider automatically provision skills and manages the infrastructure required to run the code. Again, same thing. Uh, Cloud provider manages all the infrastructure. Okay, so now the next question comes, then why we are giving this serverless name? So this serverless name has been given because the tasks associated with infrastructure provisioning and management are invisible to the developers in case of serverless computing. Of course, if you are not managing the servers, then of course these are invisible to us. Okay, as a developer, I need infrastructure I need computer, I need internet connection, I need all the required softwares to be installed in my system, in my computer or in my server for me to start my development work. Okay, for me to start my development work. Okay, so that's where the serverless name came because the infrastructure and all other hardware or infrastructure things are invisible to the developers. Developers are not involved in the infrastructure and IT setup. Okay, those are already taken care by the cloud providers. Developers are only responsible for developing the application. Okay, which can give more business value, which can give more business insights. Okay, that's what here it is writing. This approach enables developer to increase their focus on business logic and deliver more value to the core of business. It increases their focus on business logic. Okay, It allows developers to increase their focus on developing the application which will increase their business, their core business, okay, which eventually increases their productivity and bring product to the market faster, okay. If developers are focusing more on product, that means the product that they are building, that will be brought to the market at a faster, right? And time is value, time is money, right? If a developer is launching an application as soon as possible, then what could be better than that? So that's all. I shown you Azure SQL database that we can provision on serverless compute. I just shown to you by sharing the screen, and I hope that now this concept is clear to you. So before ending this video, let me tell you, serverless computing doesn't actually mean that we don't need any server. Okay, we need server, but those servers are not maintained by us. Those servers are invisible from us. Those are actually taken care by the cloud providers. Thank you so much, everyone. This was all about the serverless computing. Now we will keep on proceeding towards AZ900 fundamental certification. Do connect with me. Please like, subscribe, and share my video. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Take care.